So in this video, we're going to cover the VI editor. We're going to go through just some basic commands that you would normally use in this editor. In fact, I'm going to close out of the file that I'm in. We are going to open a file. We're going to manipulate the file a little bit, and then I'm going to show you how to save the file. Just again, to open something, to make quick changes to it, and then get out of it. The idea here is that you're trying to learn how to manipulate a Linux server, and you want to be able to go in and modify the configuration files and other things that you need to work with quickly and efficiently. The VI editor has two modes. You have a navigation mode, which is where you're going to be all the time when you're using the system, or the editor, and you're only going to go into edit mode when you want to make a quick change or you want to make a change, and then you're going to hit escape and go back into the navigation mode. And you'll find that you do most of your work in navigation mode when you're manipulating these files. So the first thing that we want to do is, how do we open a file? And to do that, I'm just going to open a file that I have here on the hard drive. And so we'll type VI, the name of the file, and hit enter. And that opens up the file, and it actually opens the file in the last position that you were in the file the last time you edited the thing. So it's pretty helpful when you're going in and reopening files that you had open earlier. Now, the first thing is, how do we move around in the file? You can use the arrow keys on the keyboard to move around. However, the system is designed so that you never have to take your hands off the home keys. And so by default, if you use the H, J, K, and L keys, you can actually move up and down, left and right. So it makes it really quick to move up and down and not have to actually pick your hands up off the keyboard. Now, you also have keys such as W, which will move you to the next word in the sentence or whatever it is that you happen to be modifying. If you hit the B key, it'll go backwards. If you wanted to change the word navigator to agent, as an example, we can just type C, and again, to make sure you're in navigation mode, you hit the escape key. You can hit as many times as you want to make sure you're there. But we're going to hit CW to change word, and then we're going to put in agent, and then we're going to hit escape. So we just essentially modified that word with just a couple keystrokes instead of having to sit and delete it. Now, the other thing that we can do is hit the U key, and it'll undo the last command. We also can hit the period, and it will redo the last command that we issued. So if you think about it, we hit CW, we changed the navigator to agent. And so what that means is that any word that I get to, if I hit the period, it will change it to the word agent. So whatever word I'm on, it will change it to the word agent. Now I'm going to hit U again to undo those two changes. Now I want to quit this file and not save any changes that I have done. So to do that, I'm going to hit a colon. We're going to hit the lowercase q and an exclamation point, and we're telling it quit and forget any changes that I made to the file. And so that will put me back at the command prompt. Now I'm going to hit the up arrow key and open the file again. And so if I wanted to save the file, so let's say I changed this to agent and I hit escape, and now I want to save the file, but I want to continue editing the file, I can hit colon W, and that will save the file in its current state. So now, even if I do save the file, I can still hit the U to undo me back to the original state of the file, and then save that version of the file. So you do, no matter when you save the file or how many times you save the file, you still have access to all your history. So another thing I want to do is I want to go to the end of the line. I'm going to hit a $, and that will take me to the end of the line. A 0 will take me to the beginning of the line. So again, I'm not having to move my hands over here to the right side of the keyboard to do any of this stuff. I'm able to keep my hands right here on the home keys of the keyboard to pull most of this off. So if I hit the Control D, that will move me down one page at a time. Control B will move me up one page at a time. So there's a lot of functionality here that you should learn if you're going to learn the editor. But the main thing is, how do I move up and down in the file? How do I search in the file, which we'll cover now? And then how do I edit the file to make the changes that I want to make? So to search, we're going to put a / and I'm going to put in a word that I happen to see on the screen to get it to go down and find it. And you'll notice that it highlights the word, and now I can hit the N key, November, and it will go to the next item. If I want to go up, I want to go backwards in the file, then I'm going to hit a shift $, and that will actually take me back. I still hit the N key to go to the next item, but the slash tells me to search down, the $sign tells me to search up from my current position in the file. If I wanted to change the word, again, you can hit CW and change the word to whatever you want. So the system is pretty easy to learn as far as the commands go once you learn what they are. If I wanted to highlight a line, I can hit Shift V as in Victor, and that will highlight a full line, and then I can hit the J key to actually move down and highlight the section that I want to highlight. If I wanted to move that entire block to the right, I can hit a greater than sign and it'll move it to the right. If I want to repeat that command, I can hit period and it will continue to operate on that command. So if we undo everything that we've done so far, let's say that I change navigator again to agent and I want to redo that, we can move over to the next word, hit the period, and it will continue to do that change. So we have, if I wanted to open a line, we hit a lowercase o to open below where we're at, and we hit a uppercase O to open above. Another really handy thing to use is a Control V as in Victor. That will actually allow me to highlight a column. And this is the only time that you really use Shift I to do anything. The I key inserts at the current position of the prompt, but the Shift I will actually allow me to do something else that is pretty cool. So I'm going to hit Shift I and I'm going to put in the boy, and I'm going to hit escape, and you'll notice that it is going to move everything that I had highlighted over to the right, and then it's going to actually put the boy or whatever it is that I happen to put. It could be a comment or whatever else. Now I want to get rid of that information, so I'm going to hit Control V again. I'm going to go over and highlight. I'm going to hit the J key to go down to where I want to be, and I'm going to hit the X key to delete that entire column or that block of code all at one time. So the editor has quite a few functions to it in this navigation mode that greatly speeds up the process of editing files. It's very, very handy to use in a lot of different situations, and I highly recommend trying to learn as many commands as you can. The fact of the matter is there's so many commands, you're never going to learn them all, and there's only a handful of them that you're going to use every single time you open a file. The ones that I've showed you so far are probably 90% of the commands that you're going to use on a daily basis. There's another 10 or 15% that you also need to learn, but this should get you started pretty well in editing any file that you want to do with the VI editor. Now, I do recommend for at least the first couple weeks that you try to use only the home keys. You don't use the arrow keys and the other stuff. Make yourself actually try to use the keys properly, and it'll pay off greatly in the end. The other thing is I would recommend just opening up files and making changes to them. How do I go to the next word? How do I go back? How do I go to the end of the line? How do I go to the beginning? How do I open a line up and above? Do these things over and over. Hit escape after every command so that you can make sure you're always in edit mode, and then or in navigation mode, and learn the editor. And again, it'll pay off strides once you get comfortable with the VI editor.